Hello, my dear friends! Do you recognize me? I'm Antonia Romaker and I'm teaching you English. A lot of my students ask me to create more videos about studying English. How you should do it. How you are supposed to practice listening, speaking, and, well, how you can memorize words better and quicker. So that's why I've decided to make another video about techniques. Or methods of studying. Today we'll talk about memorizing words. How are you supposed to do that? A lot of people complain that their active vocabulary is very limited, and today we'll talk about different principles and methods to make it better, to enlarge it, to boost it. So, first of all, the first principle I want to talk about today is associations. Whenever you come across a new word which you do not know, it's a good idea to create an association with it. It can be different kinds of associations. First of all, it can be an image. So you study a new word, let's say a bra, and you imagine the picture. So you try to connect this image with the word or two images with the word. Always try to do that. It will help you remember words better. That's why when we teach kids different words, when we walk around the city and we point at different things and say, this is grass and that is a dog and so on, the kid remembers things better. That's why studying a foreign language in another country is good, because you always hear words pronounced and said in connection with some situations, contexts, and things, objects, and so on. So imagine the picture. That would be good. Another kind of association would be to find a word in your mother tongue which sounds like the word you study. A very simple and even dull example. In English we have the word look. And in Russian, let's say, there's a word luk and it means onion. So that's why when you try to memorize this new word for you, look, you think about onions, and you can create funny sentences like for yourself. When I cut onions, it's hard for me to look. So these sentences can be partially in English and partially in your mother tongue. Когда я режу лук, I can't look. So when I cut onions, I can't look. So you create such kind of associations, and this might be helpful too. So some audio associations, things which sound alike, and you just connect. You create a connection, and connections are always good in terms of studying foreign languages. So when there's, in terms of studying anything actually, because this is how our brain works. It needs connections to our previous memories, to our previous experiences. That's why finding a word which sounds like a new word and finding some logic which would connect these two words might be also extremely useful. However, you need to understand that this method might slow you down a little bit, because whenever you hear this word, you have to remember what connection, what word, and so on. So you have to build this connection, and it is not that fast. So that's why when you learned a new word, you created this association, you need to go further. You can't stop there. You need to introduce this word into your active vocabulary. And how do you do it? This is very simple. This is principle 2, and it is connected with using the word as much as possible. It can be found in different places, in books, articles, newspapers, songs, audio files, different podcasts, films, and so on. So different places. You have to see and hear this word over and over again, and then you'll remember it really well, and it'll get sucked into your memory so that you could use this word yourself, not just understand it when you see or hear it, but use it yourself. So sometimes you just need to force the word into your, surroundings. For example, you might also use different post-its and write new words on those post-its and put them all over your place so that you would suddenly bump into them here and there and see them. That would be also a good idea. So, another tip is writing, these expressions on different pieces of paper. The next tip, the next principle is that it is better to try to remember words in the context. So, words, not just one word separately. It is difficult, but try to find expressions. For example, nouns with adjectives, or nouns with verbs, or phrases containing even 3 or 4 words. It's fine, because in this case, once again, the connections will be stronger. You'll understand how this word is used, and you will remember it. That's why sometimes memorizing whole sentences might be also useful. So when you find a new word, you might try to memorize the whole sentence. Just memorize it. If the sentence is too long, make it shorter. Just take out some of the words which are not necessary, not very important here, and create a short sentence and just memorize it. Memorizing different quotes from films and songs is a wonderful idea. On the one hand, you remember the song better, you can sing along, it's great. And on the other hand, you know how these words are used, what connections can form between different kinds of words. So memorizing phrases and even whole sentences is extremely useful. This is another tip for you. It is all about connections. So, I have given you a couple of tips. Make sure to use them while studying any foreign language. English, Russian, Arabic, Japanese, French, and so on. So try using them and you'll see that your vocabulary will grow much faster. But that's it. We'll continue talking about studying new words and doing it faster and more effectively. But that's it for today. Do not forget to like this video if you actually liked it. Share, subscribe, and I hope to see you soon. Happy English and Russian practice. Bye bye.